Hey, I'm answering this question for 120 Pinner. He says, where do I stand when the item is returned to me? It's worth £100 and the original box has been trashed. Half the packaging has been removed and the box is stuffed with a Sainsbury's bag. Who pays for the new packaging I have to buy? Okay, quite simply, you pay. eBay's first priority is to protect the buyer, and it's your obligation to prove the condition in which the item has arrived in. And there's no way to prove that the box arrived in this condition. And it's a shame, but this is just the way it works when you deal with e-commerce. Not necessarily just eBay, but e-commerce in general. Now, as far as eBay goes, or even e-commerce in general, there's no way that they can prove that the box was damaged on arrival. Now, again, there's no way to prove that the box wasn't damaged when you sent it to the buyer. So it's one of those situations that cancel itself out. eBay is really just a platform. They weren't there when the box arrived, when it arrived to you, or when it arrived originally to the buyer. All they can do is say a buyer wants to return an item, and the buyer has returned an item, and it's just the way it works. Now, eBay assumes that the buyer's returned it in the same condition that you sent it to the buyer. This isn't always the case. In few situations, I've seen situations where the seller has literally recorded the box or the package as it's been delivered by the postman as videographic evidence that the item has arrived, and they will open and inspect the package from the buyer in real time. I've seen situations like that, but it's very hard to use that evidence with eBay. eBay doesn't really have a proper system where you can upload video evidence of you opening the package, and so I've seen people do that, and initially those cases have always been closed in the buyer's favour. A few times I've seen sellers win it, but only after the fact that it's been closed in the buyer's favour, and it was more of a goodwill gesture refund to the seller, and the buyer still got their refund. So it's sort of a neutral refund on both sides, if you look at it that way. So that's just the way it works. Now, in my opinion, I'd say just let it go. You're saying the item is worth £100. You can still, providing the item itself is still working and the accessories are there and whatnot. I don't know what you're selling. I would just buy a new box, go to your local pound shop or hardware shop, wherever you can buy a box for cheap, and just repackage it. Make sure that if you sell it again on eBay that you clearly state that the original box isn't provided to cover your back. And it's really the cost of business, because if you say anything, if you refute the refund, eBay will refund the buyer whether you like it or not. So there's no point refusing the refund. And if you bring it up and make it a big deal, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get negative feedback, and if you don't get negative feedback you're going to get a low DSR score, so, or maybe even both. So I'd say just chalk it up to a cost of business. Protect your account, make sure you get that good positive feedback, that good DSR score, and just move forward. Sometimes a business's transactions don't go as the way that you want it to go. It's a learning process. 9 times out of 10 your transactions do go fine, so it's not really a big deal to get one problem transaction. Just learn from it, move along, it's experience gained under your belt, and there's nothing much you can do. I hope that answered your question. If it has answered your question, click the like button. If you've got another question or similar question, comment down below. Until next time.